Hello there. Welcome to Just the Dis. In this episode, I am going to be offering some Vinegar Syndrome sale recommendations for the halfway to Black Friday sale. This video / this episode will be an augmentation / add-on to the interview I just posted this week with Justin LaLiberty from Vinegar Syndrome and OCN. He offered a bunch of recommendations in that video for the sale. I'm going to link to that below. And this video will be not stuff he talked about in that interview. So go take his recommendations for sure. I'm going to try and add on to those. And what I'm going to offer here is some Vinegar Syndrome proper label recommendations, and then some partner label recommendations, more specifically a few partner labels that I love in the interest of time. And then I'm going to throw in some old favorites that I've already talked about on the channel. And I'm going to try and do this quickly. So some of this is like favorites / recommendations / things you should be aware of are available as part of the sale. Now, as Justin said in his interview, they are doing everything that was released in January of 2022 and prior will be 50% off the MSRP on the website, so technically on sale. Anything from February on to present will not be marked down in that way. You can still get those titles, but they won't be on sale in the same sense. So, I'm going to start with Nothing Underneath. And this one came recommended from my pal Phil Blankenship, who programs over at the New Beverly Cinema here in Los Angeles. And it's bonkers. There's scissors. There's Donald Pleasance eating spaghetti at McDonald's. There's twins feeling each other. Their energy. It's crazy. I'm not going to go too deep on any of these because I'm going to try and zip through a lot. Okay. But know that this is a good bonkers pick. It also comes with a movie called Too Beautiful to Die. But Nothing Underneath is pretty nuts and pretty great. This will be a controversial one. This is like when Justin said he recommended Tough Guys Don't Dance. He said, I'm sorry if you buy it and you don't like it. Surf 2 is that kind of recommendation for me. Very strange movie about a mad scientist type guy played by Eddie Deason who's trying to sell this cola made of motor oil that turns surfers into zombies and makes them eat weird stuff. And it has a young Eric Stoltz, and it's got a great surf soundtrack. Especially in the director's cut version, which is definitely the version I recommend. This is Surf 2, the end of the trilogy, and it's this director's cut, and it's got tons of features on it. This is just so if you like goofy cult movie kind of stuff, I'll have a few more to recommend in that vein, but these are the ones that are like newer, kind of. If you're into the Gialli sets. Forgotten Gialli version 4 just makes the cutoff, so that means you can also get Forgotten Gialli version 3, or volume 3, I'm sorry, and I'm not sure if the first two are available, so I'm not going to comment on that, but if you're into these sets and they're very neat and interesting, volumes 4 and 3 are available as part of the sale. I think 3 has still got copies left. Then in terms of 4K, we have Dead Heat. This is a film directed by the great editor turned director Mark Goldblatt, who also did the Punisher movie, about a couple of cops. One of them becomes undead, and it's Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams, and it's super fun and crazy and gory and 4K. So Dead Heat is part of the sale. You can get Dead Heat now this weekend. Then, of course, we have another 4K in Ticks. This is definitely a cult item, starring the great Amy Dolenz on the cover there. But also you have Alfonso Ribeiro and Seth Green and, very nice. Commentary track with special effects supervisor Doug Beswick and stop motion animator Yancy Calzada, moderated by filmmaker Joe Begas. So Joe is on this, and I forgot about that. And there's a director, and Clint Howard is in this. It's a sort of tongue-in-cheeky horror movie where ticks start going after some kids out in the wilderness, and it's nuts and crazy and gory. Yeah, it's fun. I'm definitely a fan of this one. And it's a nice 4K. Never looked better. So that's two 4Ks. that are now part of the sale. Then, of course, we have New York Ninja, which is just a Blu-ray, but basically a rediscovered movie, a movie that they found the elements for and re-recorded the soundtrack because that was gone. And this is like a crazy action movie, low-budget thing in the vein of like Miami Connection, which is also coming as we saw as part of the new package that you can get. So if you like Miami Connection, New York Ninja is right up your alley. I would also throw in this one. It's been available as part of the sale, but Death Promise, a crazy action movie about some folks fighting against their landlords, and there's crazy stuff, including rats in bags on people's heads. And then on to some partner label stuff. We'll start with Boarding House. This is from AGFA, and this movie is crazy. And I can't remember if it was shot on theatrical cut preserved in 2K from original 35 release print, original home video cut transferred from 3/4 tape. I can't remember if this was like shot on video and transferred to film or what, but it's directed by this guy, John Wintergate, who stars in the film, and it's like sort of like, if I remember, like a haunted housey kind of thing, but it's bonkers. If you're looking for bonkers, Boarding House. You got to do it. Absolutely 100%, no question. And this also has a two-disc set, and I love what Agva's been doing this way. Comes with the movie Psycho Killer, which is a previously unreleased alternate cut of Boarding House. And then an unreleased family film from the makers of Boarding House called Sally and Jess with commentary. I mean, this is a really great set. Boarding House is a true cult gem in the bonkers variety. And then if you're into backyard kung fu, Treasure of the Ninja and the films of William Lee, another really great comprehensive set from AGFA where they include not only this film, these are shot on 8mm, regional. One guy doing it, and they're super fun. They're all dubbed, and the sound effects sound like just sort of people doing it with their mouths, kind of stuff. And it's great, and it's super fun. And there's other films on here, and there's a bonus movie and shorts, and it's a great comprehensive overview of William Lee, the filmmaker, and super fun. I really, really enjoyed Treasure of the Ninja, so highly recommend that. And then we're going to talk about one of my favorite labels. I'm actually wearing the shirt today, Fun City Editions. Just about everything they have. Go ahead and get it. I've talked about Smile and Jeremy before. Those are two of my favorites. Those have been available during previous sales. I think some of these have been available during previous sales, but I know Morven Caller has not. This is a great film by Lynn Ramsey, starring, as you can see, the wonderful Samantha Morton, of course. This is a really great sort of dark drama. I'm not going to talk about the plot of this one too much. This is more of a, like, if you're into her and you're into dark drama and a great soundtrack, this is a high-profile title. This is like one that I'm so glad that Fun City got, but could have easily been a Criterion release. So Morven Caller is now available as part of the sale. Radio On, I've talked about on the channel. I've done a full review of it, and I totally recommend it. Very much a mood piece, and another great soundtrack. Really, really good stuff. Huge fan of this one. This was a big discovery for me last year. I'd never seen this. That's great. Rancho Deluxe, a cult film with Jeff Bridges and Sam Waterston and Clifton James and Slim Pickens and Elizabeth Ashley, and it's about two basically cattle rustlers and their battle with this cattle baron played by Clifton James, and it's got a Jimmy Buffett soundtrack, and it's really great. Like, I'm just a huge fan of this one. Love it. Directed by Frank Perry, so that's great. Walking the Edge, we've talked about, I'm pretty sure, on the channel. Kind of an LA taxi driver, but maybe a little lighter, not quite as dark as Taxi Driver, but definitely has some dark moments. And it's Robert Forster and Nancy Kwan. She ropes the taxi driver played by Forster into this revenge plot against Joe Spinell and his gang who have killed her husband and son. And it's great. Great movie. Highly recommended. And then the Primetime Panic box set, the first box set that was put out by Fun City, and it includes Dreams Don't Die, Death Ride to Osaka, and a movie called Freedom, all of which I like very much, and I just like this set a lot. It's just really, really solid stuff. Got extra features, and it's, the Vinegar Syndrome classic box set setup, and Death Ride to Osaka is directed by Jonathan Kaplan, who did Over the Edge, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and has Jennifer Jason Leigh in it. But anyway, I like Dreams Don't Die a lot too, and Freedom. I like them all. Great box set, definitely recommended. And this was mentioned by Justin briefly, but I had to just bring up again from Decanalog. Keep an eye out. Very bizarre, strange, surreal comedy from Quentin Dupieux, who did Rubber and Mandibles and a whole bunch of other films. This is his first French language film, and it's done in such a way that I find it to be like really that sort of absurdist comedy. It's sort of an absurdist procedural comedy, and it's great. Big recommend. Check out Decanalog. This film and Detention are worth your time. And then in terms of some old favorites, well, let me just throw this in there real quick. Saturn's Core Audio and Video does a lot of shot on video stuff. I recommend checking out their stuff and finding anything that's on sale if you're into that sort of action, horror, gore, craziness. But this is called Mail Order Murder, and it's the story of Wave Productions, which was a company that they released some of the films from this company, but they would basically do movies based on people's suggestions for like $500 and make up scripts and send them out. And it's just a great story of a really interesting company from the, I want to say 90s. So a great little documentary called Mail Order Murder. That's from Saturn's Core. But then in terms of some old favorites, I'm going to go through these real quick because I've talked about these in other recommendation videos, but I just want to throw them in. The Caller with Malcolm McDowell and Madeline Smith. Very interesting cabin in the woods, but man stops by, cabin has cars broken down, and then it becomes sort of a tension thriller thing between the man and the woman, and where it goes is totally unexpected and fascinating. I'm into that. Shot is one of my very favorites. Justin, I think, mentioned this one too. This is the sort of the student film version of The French Connection, or like the Max Fisher Player version of The French Connection, where they're doing it on a student-looking acting level, but they also have incredible resources like helicopters and crazy chase scenes, and it's just so much fun. Shot in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, I believe, but well worth your time. Red Roses of Passion, I think, is still available, still in print. This is from softcore auteur, if you will, Joe Sarno. This one's got kind of a witchy vibe to it, but it's black and white, very stylish, low budget. Will definitely put you on the path of maybe wanting to find out who Joe Sarno is. It's got like some Bergman in it almost. Really, really good stuff. Best Friends. This one was totally off my radar until this release. Kind of about two buddies who've gotten out of the army and go on one last road trip together. And one of them's getting married and the other is sort of jealous of the wife of the other. And he's kind of a little unhinged and it kind of goes crazy from there. But really, really interesting from the late 70s. But I dug that very much. And then we got like a lot of bonkers stuff here. A lot of bonkers. Okay, so you've got Night Beast, Don Doler, lasers, crazy monsters that look like that. Well worth getting. Off the hook bonkers. Mausoleum. This is totally an old one, but has who's my man in this? Marshall Gortner. Possession. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. If you want nuts, Mausoleum. Incubus, also nuts, but more of a dark horror drama about a creature that's attacking women, and it has John Cassavetes, and it has a killer ending. It's like legit one of the best movies Vinegar Syndrome's put out, along with like Patty Hearst, which I don't have in my pile, but I recommend. The Severed Arm. This one, kind of a crazy movie about some guys in a cave who end up voting, they get stuck, and when they vote for one guy to cut his arm off so they can eat it, and then they get rescued, and then later all of them are attacked or killed by an unknown assailant that's trying to cut off their arms. Very interesting. And then you got your horror comedies, stuff like There's Nothing Out There, Pandemonium, very goofy, the Rock and Roll High School of horror comedies in my mind, and then Wacko, another one that I like. Now, your mileage will definitely vary on the comedies, right? And then I've got a couple slashers that I may not have talked about before, Rush Week and Silent Madness. If you're into slashers deep, then these are worth your time. And Silent Madness is Blu-ray 3D and definitely benefits from being in 3D. So if you have the capacity to watch Blu-rays in 3D, this one will be even better. But just as a slasher, you might dig it. Same thing with Rush Week for those slasher completists. So those are my recommendations for the sale this time. Hopefully there is some stuff in here for you to check out or enjoy. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.